Fears are growing that the conflict in Ukraine could spill over not only to neighboring countries like Moldova, but the wider region. To shore up support for Kiev, Albania hosted Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy and other Western Balkan leaders. The participants agreed to supply more weapons to Ukraine, with Zelenskyy promoting an idea of setting up joint arms production across the region. But the final 12-point statement lacked some tough calls against Russia, thanks to the intervention of longtime Kremlin ally Serbian President Aleksandar Vucic. Omer Saraci has more from Tirana.
2 years on, the war in Ukraine shows no signs of ending. After a series of disappointments on the battlefield and some Western support showing signs of tiring, Ukraine is seeing itself backed into a corner. To shore up that vital aid from its European friends, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelenskyy arrived in Tirana for a crucial regional summit. He co-chaired the event with Albanian Prime Minister Edi Rama, focusing on collaboration and providing support for Ukraine. The atmosphere was tense and the divides all too visible. Regional leaders were supposed to set aside their differences to unite in support of Ukraine. But the cracks were visible early. Serbia's President Aleksandar Vucic, a longtime ally of Moscow, requested the removal of a paragraph discussing anti-Russian sanctions, and another highlighting Russia's negative influence in the Balkan countries. A request which was taken into account in the final text, softening the tone of the final statement. The President of Ukraine had a clear message for the attendees, and especially for his major allies.
We need to survive. That means that everything what we decided, where we have contracts or aid, it has to come in time. That is the biggest and the most fundamental initiative of everybody, just to give us in time, if they can. If they made a decision before to support us. And I think this is the question of will we stand or not?
For Zelenskyy, timing and readiness for Putin's next step are crucial.
It's important, yes, to be strong. We don't have time and we don't have alternative, because all of us, we have deal now with a killer. Just a killer. Yes. Hitler, part 2. If we are speaking about Netflix. It's not Netflix, it's a real life, a real dangerous life. I don't want, God bless, you will never see it, but just all of us, I think we have to prepare. For what? Just to be strong. To prepare for war or peace, it's not about it. To prepare for Putin's next steps.
From the outset, Albania stood alongside the nations supporting Ukraine in the effort to defend its people and its territory. Albania played a crucial role in the UN Security Council to secure diplomatic support for Ukraine, with the objective to politically isolate the Russian Federation.
We are doing it for ourselves. Straightforward. For ourselves. This is not an existential threat just for Ukraine. This is a threat for whatever we think our future should be.
Zelenskyy openly expressed his gratitude to the representatives of the countries attending the summit. But beyond diplomatic support, what else could he ask for from the small countries of Southeast Europe?
Zelenskyy është në një garë kundër kohës për të gjetur sa më shumë armatime të mundur. Ka kohë që ka një ngërç në Washington, vendet evropiane nuk janë në gjendje ta plotësojnë atë ngërçin që ka Shtetet Bashkuara. Gjatë këtyre 2 viteve kemi parë që Rusia ka prodhuar shumë armatime se gjithë perëndimi. Pra Zelenskyj është në një garë të vërtet për të marrë armatime kudo ku mund t'i marrë ato. Dhe Ballkani Perëndimor është një prej vendeve të cilat mund ta ndihmonte modestisht edhe Ukrainën në këtë rast. Dhe gjëja më e rëndësishme e summitit në fakt është ajo fjalia që Zelenskyj tha për armatimet që mund të merren nga Shqipëria dhe që u konfirmua më vonë nga kryeministri Rama, që Shqipëria dhe Ukraina mund të prodhojnë bashkërisht armatime për Ukrainën.
Foreign policy expert Gledis Gjipali views the situation as connected to a growing concern regarding a potential shift in American policy.
Qëllimi I summitit të Tiranës ishte që Ukraina të gjente atë mbështetje të cilën politikisht e ka marrë nga vendet e Ballkanit Perëndimor, por për të parë mundësitë dhe mbështetje ekonomike apo ushtarake në muajt apo në vitet në vazhdim, duke ditur që dhe konflikti me shumë gjasa do të zgjasi me vite dhe nuk do të shuhet, nuk ka një mundësi paqe të shpejtë. Po ashtu, duke ditur që situata në mbështetja që do vi nga Shtetet Bashkuara të Amerikës është në diskutim e lidhur me rezultatin e zgjedhjeve atje, krijimi një aleance më të gjerë me vende të cilat mund kontribojnë sadopak është një garanci më shumë për qëndrueshmërinë e Ukrainës përballë luftës dhe përballë agresionit rus.
The participants in the summit emphasized the importance of standing ready at any time to assist one another and actively contributing to the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. From the Tirana summit, it emerged again that Russia should be blocked in all possible ways, especially in the fields of economy and information, which aim to cause unrest in the countries of the Western Balkans, as it has been observed in recent years. The summit conveyed a clear message that war is not an abstract concept. It is a real and imminent threat. For TRT World, Omer Saraci, Tirana, Albania.
Let's cross to Belgrade now. Boško Jakšić is there for us. He is a member of the Council of Serbia's Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Policy Editor-in-Chief at Politica. Great to have you with us, Mr. Jakšić, here on Across the Balkans. Now, I want to hear your thoughts first on the Ukrainian president's idea of joint arms production with Balkan nations. Is it likely that we will see that in practice as well?
Well, when we talk about ammunition, we should primarily talk about Serbia, because Serbia's ammunition export to the United States is by far the largest in the region, and it's a public secret that great part of that export ends up in Ukraine. So the meeting between Presidents Vucic and Zelenskyy in Tirana, two leaders, I would say, who doesn't act as a very cordial partners, enabled the President of Serbia to provide concrete support to the authorities in Kiev. So Zelenskyy must have been satisfied at the time when, due to the shortage of ammunition, initiative is turning on Russian side at Ukrainian fronts. But the question is, however, what will happen next? Due to the export of ammunition, Belgrade is certainly under severe pressures from Moscow and decided to cut export with the explanation that Serbia must first fill its own strategic reserves. So globally, in terms of the region, yes, there can be some help in that in this very particular and sensitive moment for Ukraine, but I'm not sure how much in terms of quantities can be exported.
Is this how President Vucic managed to remove sanctions on Russia from the joint statement at the end, as they possibly agreed on the weapons in the meantime?
Well, some sort of compromises were obviously needed, but the summit in Tirana offered an opportunity to the countries of the Southeast Europe to express their solidarity with Ukraine. I would say more symbolically than practically, and to confirm the unity in opposing Russian aggression. But it actually showed there is no complete homogeneous in attitudes. So far, Serbia has not complied with any of the restrictive measures or declarations against Russia that the European Union has adopted since the beginning of the aggression. President Vucic, who has been trying all the time to strike some kind of balance from the beginning of the war, refused to join EU statement of the death of Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny, and sanctions due to the occupation of Crimea. In Tirana, he prevented the inclusion of the wording about Russia malign influences and Moscow's attempts to destabilize the Western Balkans. And he blocked an invitation to Belgrade to join the sanctions against Russia.
Right.
So I would say that considering such a position of Serbia, the success of the summit is half-hearted. Serbia does not act as a reliable partner which the European Union expected to be.
Exactly. The statement was quite watered down and it was different than what was expected. I do agree with you on that. But is this also telling us how strong Mr. Vucic is politically, despite the fact that he refuses to join the EU sanctions, and he didn't face any consequences, and then again he managed to even water down this statement?
Well, it does confirm that he has a strong position, but nature of his strong position is in Kosovo. So he's accepted, he's tolerated in autocratical kind of rule in Serbia for years and years, and all those compromises that we've seen and in Tirana are part of that same Kosovo story. So while he is the main partner in solving the Kosovo problem, which is one of that Europeans don't want to have as a neuralgic point at the time there is also the war in Ukraine, his position is rather strong, and he is then capable and of as one of the old members of the Southeast European community to water down the documents of the summit. So yes, but the bottom line is in Kosovo.
We've heard Prime Minister Orban saying that the EU will lose Serbia if they don't act quickly on this. Do you think the EU's position and the way it deals, not just with Kosovo issue, but in general, its relations with Serbia will change in the future as well, especially depending on what we see in Ukraine and scenario that we are waiting to see in Ukraine?
After years and years, the first signals came from Brussels or Strasbourg, to be more precise, after the December elections in Serbia. It is the first time that the Europeans criticized the way how the elections were run. So it was a critics of the regime, Vucic's regime, and this is something new. This is a sign that Europeans are ready to change the attitude towards Serbia. How long it will last? How strong it will be? We can't say at this moment. But yes, this is something which is changing and which is showing that it's not only Kosovo where the Europeans are interested concerning Serbia, but they are also interested in real democratic reforms in Serbia, which are lacking at least for a last decade, while Vucic's party is in power. So all in all, we are having mixed signals, but the mix is first time comprises and the positive signals for the future of democracy in Serbia. And of course, one can just expect what that means for the whole region if one has the stable, prosperous, and democratic Serbia.
Okay, thank you so much. We'll keep an eye on that. Definitely what's happening, definitely mixed signals coming from the Brussels when it comes to Serbia. We've covered this story so many times, and it's always very confusing to predict what will happen next. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to have you on Across the Balkans, Mr. Boško Jakšić.
Thank you.
And thanks for watching this episode of Across the Balkans. See you next time. Bye-bye for now.